Yeah, cool. So I think we are live now.
Yeah.
Good evening, everyone. So we have with us today Professor Jairaj Nair from Welingkar, Bangalore. He is the HOD of at Bangalore, Welingkar. And he'll be discussing with us on what exactly students need to do after the CAT examination. So as we know, most of these a very warm welcome, sir. And as you know, most of the students have gotten their response sheet for CAT, and they know their expected scores, and then maybe the expected percentiles. So given this backdrop, so what should a student be doing at this point of time? And then let us try to divide into multiple cases. One is the student who is scoring high in the examination and who is very confident about his calls. And the second one is the student who is like on the border, who doesn't know if he is going to get a good call or he is not going to get a call at all.
Okay.
And then there are students who have not performed as well as they have wished for.
Okay. Okay. Can I go ahead?
Yeah, go ahead, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. Hey, hi guys. Welcome to this talk show or the small chat or maybe some GANs I'm going to give you. Now, thank you, Shrikant, for having me on the show. And my name is Dr. Jairaj Nair, and I've been a product of IIM Calcutta myself. So I think I should be able to answer a few of your questions. But to start with, let me try to answer what Shrikant had asked me. See, first of all, please understand, okay, the SCAT is an elimination kind of an exam, as you're aware of. And I believe that this year, the exam was a bit strange, right? So it went beyond expectations. I think the DLRI was much harder than the verbal section, which is pretty easy from what I understood. Now, what I would suggest is, see, let's take a clue from what we have seen from the DLRI. And one thing which is very clear to me as a faculty and also as somebody who's been in the field for quite a long while, nowadays, colleges and companies are looking at students or candidates who have a very good analytical bent of mind. Okay, and probably that is one reason why the DLRI was changed. It will be much more strict or much more stringent it became this year. That is one thing which I can see from the paper of this time Candia. Anyway, going forward, now, like you said, we have got three buckets, right? So one bucket is people who expect to get really good scores. On the middle, we have somebody who didn't do as expected, and another one is who's not really done well. See, for all three of you, one general statement I'll make is, at this stage, don't give up, okay? Because today, it is not only the IIMs, right? Because maybe a few decades back, IIMs were the only B schools in the country, so to speak. But today we have a lot of good B schools. In fact, the other day I was reading about SPJ, and they have achieved 100% placement this year, right? So please do not put all eggs in one basket and think of only the IIMs. I'm sure you'll get a call from some of the really good B schools all over the country. So my request to you would be, please be prepared as and when you get the call. Don't get deflated, don't get dejected, and stop preparation. Okay. So for all three sects, I'll say the same thing. People who have done extremely well, you don't have 1 minute to lose. Get into the GDPI preparation mode. For people who are on the borderline, please don't relax. And people who think you have not done well, give it a shot. You never know, right? You never know, because a lot of colleges, they give a lot of weightage to other factors as well. Because see, remember, in any college, when you look at the admission criteria, this CAT might be 40-50% only. The rest would be on the other aspects. For example, if you have some extracurriculars or how you perform at GDP, these things become very important. And people have not done well at all. Maybe you can try looking at the SNAP or the other exams which are in the market. And also, you can take a look at exams like CMAT. Okay, they're also good exams, and they will give you inroads into good B schools in the country as well. Okay, so the mantra here is don't waste your time by brooding over what has happened, because end of the day, it is a competitive exam, and it is expected that it's going to be very tough. It won't be a cakewalk. So you have done what best you could do. Just wait for the call, but in the meantime, start your preparations. Okay, I think that's what I would like to say to the students.
Correct. I think that's a very solid advice to the students. So you have mentioned about college considering the profile of the students, right? So
Yeah.
what are certain colleges which give heavy emphasis on for profile, and then how does Welingkar look at the student profile?
See, as far as Welingkar, I mean, more details can be provided by our admission team. I think Mr. Shivkumar is there on the line. You can always reach out to him for more. He'll have to update it because I am a faculty. Okay? I teach students. So
Correct.
the admission part, Shivkumar and his team takes care. So more details will be given there. But all I'm trying to say is that, there are a lot of colleges which I don't want to name at this stage because I'm not sure, because the criteria keeps changing every year. Okay. But all I want to say is that probably CAT is only about 40-50% of the entire weightage that is given to the admission. So they look at you from an overall perspective. Okay. And that is how they're going to select you. Like I know in some colleges, they give weightage for work experience. Then if you have done something really out of the box, for example, if you had a startup of your own or something, you get some additional points. So this vary from institute to institute and also vary from year to year.
No.
So the high point here is do not give up at this stage and please continue what you're doing.
So you have mentioned about like students starting their GDPA prep, but they also have their other examinations like ZAT and SNAP, which is happening right now.
Correct.
And
Yeah,
CMAT
yeah.
coming in January. How should they like balance between GDPA preparation, or should they actually
See,
focus on those exams and then start for GDPA prep once the CAT results are out in January?
okay, and I don't think that would be the right step because if you're prepared well for CAT, right, I think that is 90% of the work done for other tests, right? You don't need anything additional beyond what you've already done, if I'm not wrong. So what you need to do is you can start revision. See, now you only need to revise now. You cannot learn anything new at this point, right? So keep doing the practice tests, get some sample, test formats for the ZAT or for the CMAT and all that, and keep practicing. But you cannot practice 24 hours a day, right? So you have to divide your time. Keep buckets. You say that I'm going to prepare. Maybe I'm going to revise for 2 hours. Take a break. 2 hours I'll prepare for the GDPI. Again, give a break. So like that, you have to play around with your time. But what I'm saying is, do not. Again, I repeat, do not waste your time only on the preparation because you never know when you can get a call. Okay? And GD preparation, it does not start on the day you get the call letter. Okay? It starts from now, right now. Okay, that is very important. Yeah.
So you have mentioned about GD preparation. So how should a student starting now go about starting GDPA preparation?
Yeah. Now this is something which I love to answer because I've been doing this for the past almost 25 years now, going all over the country. I've interviewed hundreds maybe of students and all that. So I'll tell you a few. I'll talk to you from the point of view of an interviewer. Okay. So I'm a panelist, and what is it that I see in students? I can talk from that perspective, and this would reflect what I think most of the other panelists also look for. First of all, let's come to the GD part. Okay. Now, what is it that we look at the GD, and how should you prepare? Right. See, a GD is what I mean. A GD is just a group discussion, right? So one thing which is very important in the GD is that you should be aware of the topic. So now, how would you be aware of the topic? You need to read. Now, unfortunately, for this generation, which I am noticing, they have a lot of, kind of hatred towards reading. They want everything served on a platter, maybe in the form of a short reel or something. But sorry, admissions don't go like that. Okay. Admissions don't go like that. So please cultivate the habit of reading. So what do you read? Am I telling you start reading Economic Times? Probably no, because you won't understand a lot of things and you'll get more, scared rather than understanding what it is trying to tell you. So a good way to start would be download some of those newspaper apps, like maybe a Hindu or maybe Times of India, and just go through it on a daily basis, right? So make it a habit. Like for example, every day morning, first thing I do is just scroll through the news headlines. So when you scroll through the headlines, what happens is some of the things will stick to your brains, okay? And usually I'm saying, if the GD is topic based, it will be something that has happened in the last 1 month or so. For example, if you were to ask me, like maybe I can ask you one. I can make a GD topic. Discuss about Indigo. Now, if you don't know what has been happening in the past 1 week or 10 days, you're completely dead to the whole world. You'll not be able to contribute to the GD. Okay. So that is why it is important that you please read about what is happening in the country, what is happening in the world. And again, I'm talking from a bird's eye view. You don't have to go into in-depth analysis to understand what is happening. Okay. Just have an overall bird's eye view of what is happening in the world around you. And that should be a good way to start. So make it a daily practice. As soon as you get up, scroll through the news headlines. I'm not asking you to get a physical paper, nobody does it now, but at least get the apps and please be aware of what is happening in the world around you. That is really going to help you in your journey. Okay? Okay. Another area where it's going to help you is in many colleges, which I'm noticing, including Welingkar also has seen it. Now, the GD has moved from topics to infographic based group discussion. For example, will be given an infographic, which means information which is given in the form of graphics. So there could be some, maybe a histogram or some kind of a pie chart or some kind of trend analysis. That will be given to all the 12 students in the group. They'll be given 5 minutes to think over it, and the entire discussion need to be based around that particular infographic. So that is one format which is becoming very popular. Then I've seen another format where it's very interesting. Students will be shown a 1 or 2 minute video clip, and it will be a clip from some movie, and it will stop, pause at one point, and from that point you have to start the discussion. Now, I'll give you one example. It was about this General Patton. I don't know whether you are aware of him or not. He was a general in World War II. So it's a movie based on it. So he's crossing a bridge with his full, battalion, and there's a donkey who's blocking the way. So now he shoots the donkey, and then the video is paused. So now you start the discussion. Was it an ethical thing to do? Because in human lives matter. Don't the donkey lives matter? So that went on a very, very interesting discussion for about 15 minutes. So that is one more thing you guys need to be aware of. And the other thing, or the third aspect of GDs could be case studies. Okay? So they'll bring in some small caselets, maybe a half-page, one-page case study, and you'll have to hold the discussion around that case study. Okay. Now you can only contribute to the case study if you're aware of what is there. Because, for example, now it will be a very general kind of a case study, but it will also have elements of things that have been happening in the market. Okay? And we always look at students who can bring in relevant examples from the industry. This is what this company has been doing. This is what has happened. That is really going to give you some brownie points. So this is how you should be preparing for the GD in the first step. And always remember that again from experience, GD is not an elimination round. Okay? The GD, PI, they all come together. Even if you don't do well in the GD, you still have some scope to better yourself in the PI. Right? Now, all that I said now for your GD will also apply to the PI. Because see, PI is all about confidence, right? Your communication and your confidence. You can be confident only if you know what you're talking about, right? Now, if you go to a PI knowing nothing about the business world around you, then probably you're not the right candidate, then, right? So my humble request to all of you would be, please get into the habit of reading. And reading means real reading. Spend about half an hour a day understanding the economy around you, what is happening. And I'm sure that it's going to really help you to crack the PIs. Can I just add one more point?
Sure, definitely.
Yeah, and in many institutes, they also have a component called as written analysis.
Correct.
Maybe they'll give you a short. I'll just give you some variations. Like usually what happens is you have a GD. In a GD, there are 10 to 12 students. At the end, you're given 5 minutes to summarize the GD and write down on a sheet of paper. That is one format. Second format would be you're given some topic on that impromptu, you have to write something for about 2 minutes. So it varies, format is not important. But what is important is that, see, if your English is good, you score points there. Now, unfortunately or fortunately, none of us are Englishmen, right? We are all Indians at heart. But unfortunately, the business language is English. So the expectation is your English writing should be very, very good. So please do not use or get out of the habit of using shortcuts like we do in WhatsApp, right? Instead of YOU, we write you. Stop all that. Right. Don't use shortcuts. Use proper business communication language. and that is not negotiable. Okay. Okay. And one more aspect here, which is again very important. See, most colleges, in fact, I think all colleges will ask you to pre-fill a form, asking about your SOP, statement of purpose, why you want to join MBA and all that. And again, the sad part is 99% of students, they just lift it from ChatGPT and put it on those sheets. Now, that is very, very disturbing. See, if you do not know why you want to do this, then don't do it. Because the moment you put it in ChatGPT and you just blindly copy paste it onto those application forms, it becomes very, very glaring for us that you are not a sincere candidate. Because the way you talk, the words you use do not match with what ChatGPT tells you. In fact, I'll give you a couple of examples, very funny ones. Maybe last year, I was in Kolkata for a GDPI. And, ChatGPT has this habit. If you ask a question politely, it will give you a polite answer. It will say, certainly I can do this for you. So maybe the student would have written, now, why do I want to do an MBA? Please let me know. And the answer is, certainly I will tell you. The guy went ahead and copied that certainly, that the full thing, whatever was in it, without even reading. He just copied the whole damn thing and put it on his application form. So that was very, very, very stupid of him. And he got caught, basically. Right? So please do not do that. See, I'm not against Gen AI. Gen AI is very good. We should use it. But your artificial intelligence should not replace your natural intelligence. Okay? So please try to first, reflect on your own words. Why am I doing it? Why do I want to do this? Now, many times you cannot be brutally honest. Because many times you want to do it because those tempting salaries are the main reason. But you don't want to sound like a mercenary. So you need to play a bit there, So think, reflect, and try to put it in a very diplomatic way, where you won't sound too mercenary, or at the same time you won't be dumb enough to lift it from ChatGPT and put it, right? So if you're using Gen AI, use it to refine the language. Do not use it to just borrow ideas and put it on that application form. That is going to be very, very bad. I think these are the few points which I had, and most of the PIs are going to be CV based. Okay, and when I say CV based, it will be based on the application form. Now, one thing which is again, which you guys may not like is, see, I understand in many cases people take up graduations because of certain pressures. For example, it could be peer pressure, parental pressure. Like, for example, I have a lot of instances. The students have done mechanical engineering or mining engineering, and they don't like it. Okay, yeah. They don't like it. So how do you place it at the time of interview, right? See, now if your luck is bad, okay, I'm just giving an example. If your luck is bad, and you are a mechanical engineer, and I am also a mechanical engineer, so it's a very natural human tendency for me to start asking you questions on mechanical engineering, which you want to leave. Okay, you want to run away from it, but I will catch you and I'll start, probing you. So what does that tell me? It tells me how sincere you have been as a student. So what I'm trying to say through this small example is that whatever is your basic graduation, it could be in commerce or arts or whatever, at least some of the basic things you should keep in your mind. So why do we do why am I saying that? Because that is going to tell the interviewer that you have been serious in your graduation, and given a chance in your PG also, you will do a good job. Okay, right? So that is a very, very trick area which I'm just warning you. It's a trap area. If you have done engineering, especially engineering or commerce, because more often than not, you find a finance person as your panelist. At the moment you say BCom, this guy gets excited, okay, and starts asking you questions from all directions. So the basics of BCom should be thorough. Accounting and all, you should be like thorough. Absolutely fine. Yeah. So go on, please.
Sure, sir. So you have mentioned about like students to be like knowledgeable about their undergraduation subjects and all, right?
Yeah.
So there might be some students who might not have done well in their undergraduation, and then have some work experience, maybe 2 to 3 years of work experience coming in for the interviews. So how should they prepare for their interview? Yes.
See, I'll tell you one thing. If you meet the basic criteria, I think which is 50% in your graduation, so then you should get a call. That may create a problem later for the placement, but we'll not come to that right now. But if you're talking, so let me look at it from two buckets. One is the bucket of freshers, one is from a bucket of experienced people, right? See, personally speaking, I always prefer people who come with some work experience. Okay. At least 1 year, 1 to 3 years is what I am looking at. Because when we find that such students who have worked in the industry for this period of time, they're much more mature than people who are not. But does that mean that I'm going to discard the freshers? Absolutely not. Because freshers come in with their own advantage. And what is the advantage? They come with a very fresh mind. Okay. So for these people with work experience, many times they have to unlearn and relearn. Okay, that becomes a bit of a problem. But when you're fresh, you're like a mold. Okay, you can be molded, and you can be like this. Catch them young, mold them, and watch them grow. So both sides have their own advantages, right? So for a work person, more than the CV, I would say that the work experience becomes the center point of your interviews, right? Because the interview will want to know what kind of work you did, like what have you learned from there, then what were your key responsibilities, what were your key takeaways. Tell us one situation, where you had a very difficult time, but you were able to think out of the box and you were able to come out. So all these things you should be clear about. And also when you say work experience, you see people kind of exaggerating. For example, I was a sales lead in this company and I increased the sales by 300%. And then we ask for actual data, they don't know anything. So do not exaggerate. It's not required. You don't have to go and pretend that you are the best salesperson in the world. That is not required. All we want to see is that you've got a decent work experience. That should be enough. And all this fact should be at your fingertips. Like by what percent were you able to increase the sales? You said 3%. That is fine. No problem in that. Or you're not able to increase also. It's all right. I don't mind. Okay. Or you say I was leading a team. Okay. How many members in your team? And then you start, kind of stuttering, stammering. You don't know. So that would mean that you're bluffing me, right? So these kind of basic facts should be ready at your fingertips. So whatever you've written in your CV, please spend time going through it and be ready with justifications and examples at every step of you, at every point that you're mentioning the CV. Okay, got it.
So there is one question. So is there anything students can do to improve their profile before the GDPA session start? So let's say they
improving the profile now. Yeah. If you talk about improving you don't have 4 months because I think many colleges will start by February. I think Jan Feb will already start, so there isn't much time. See, again, increasing the profile, I'll tell you what. We don't want to see people who come with too many certifications. That is not important. So do something, Okay, first of all, you have to prepare for GDPR. That is the one part of building yourself, okay, improving your profile. The other thing which you could probably do is try to do some certifications, some basic certifications, and things like analytics, or maybe a bit of AI also you can try out. And AI, when I say, look at AI from a business application point of view. You're not looking at, ML part, where you have to actually get into the coding and all this. Leave that part aside. We are looking at how do we apply AI to the business. So if you have some idea about all that, that is going to be very helpful. Some certifications might help you. But again, I'm saying these are just add-ons, but this is not the base. This will not really take you very far. Okay? Because if your base is very weak, all these things will not take you very far. Okay. And one more thing, again, also we are talking about this for the interviews also. You guys should also be aware of technology around you. Because today, without technology, nothing works. So please be aware of the basics of technology. We're not asking you to go and deep dive. No, understand what is the blockchain, how it works. Understand how AI works. Understand how 3D printing works. What are the applications? That should be good enough. Yes, sir. Next. Hello, Srikant, I think you're paused. Yeah. Hello.
Yeah, go ahead, sir.
Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah. I'm done with the answer.
Okay. So you have mentioned about people to be knowledgeable about the latest technologies and all. So
Yes,
there might
very
be
much.
some persons who might not coming from different background, let's say a doctor or some other person who might not be following the latest trends in happening in the technology. So
No,
what
but you
should they
should. I
be
mean,
looking up?
it is a minimum. See, it's not very difficult. Okay, spend some time on YouTube videos. There are so many YouTube videos. Okay, that will really show you this technology in such simple language. Okay, at least be aware of the names. If not anything, be aware of the names. If I use the word blockchain and they give me a blank stare, that is not going to help at all. So that is it's a not negotiable. It's a non-negotiable. You have
So
to be
we
aware of what is happening. Right?
correct. So we'll take some questions from students. So
Yeah,
Vedant,
yes, yeah.
Vedant is asking, sir, and Matt, I got 229, and what program can I get at that score?
See, again, like I said, no, it is only 40 to 50% is what we can tell you. The rest all depends on how we perform in the GP. So it will be very foolish at this point to make any kind of predictions for any stream in any college. Right? So don't worry much about that. Do your best, and then we will see. And then if you've done really good in the GDPI, then you stand a very good chance to get into the top rated program of that institute.
Okay.
Yeah. Next.
So there is one question from Aditya. He's asking, will Welingkar accept CMAT score? I think Welingkar does.
Yes, yes.
So should I fill the form now or after CMAT results?
Aditya, probably I will request you to get in touch with my colleague, Shiv Kumar. I think, Shrikant, you can share his link. You can share his coordinates on the link, and then students can get back to him. Shiva, are you there? Shiva, are you online?
Shiva, I think he's on the YouTube comment section, so he'll reply to it. I think from what I know, so they can apply now and then update their scores once they get the CMAT scores.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So I think all the admission procedure, everything you can go to a website. It is completely updated. Or if you want some personal input, you can definitely talk to Shiva. Okay, and yeah, he'll guide you on that.
Sure, definitely, sir. So we have some other examinations also coming up for students, right, in January, and then SNAP happening right now. So given their preparation for CAT, how should they prepare for these examinations? Let's say if you take exam, right, it has a new section DM and then GK, and then CMAT has a new section innovation and entrepreneurship. These are slightly different and new sections for those students. How should they prepare for those examinations?
See, as far as that is concerned, that is a very tough exam. It's very, very tough. I'm telling you, it's now. Don't take it lightly. Don't take it easy. Because if I go back to my time when I wrote my exams, I think I felt that that was tougher than CAT in that particular year. Right? Yeah. But again, let's not get there. But that is not something to be taken lightly. Right? Now, regarding this CMAT and all this, maybe if you are prepared for CAT, this should not be a big problem. But the trick here is to be updated. Okay, you need speed, you need accuracy. Right? It is more about your practice rather than what you have understood. It's not a knowledge test. It's a test of speed, test of accuracy, and test of recall also, right? Like how you're able to bring back those old concepts and bring them into your answers. Okay, right? So, but if you've done CAT seriously, then I think CMAT and all should not be a problem. But that, yes, you need a little bit more thrust. Okay, you need a little bit more thrust. Regarding the new sections, I don't think I'll be the right person to answer this in terms of what type of questions. I think, there are a lot of things floating around on the internet, and there are a lot of advisors who can give you this kind of numbers. And regarding innovation entrepreneurship, I think for the CMAT, maybe innovation is something I don't think it cannot be formalized. Okay? But coming to entrepreneur part, maybe you need to know a bit about what is happening in India on the entrepreneurship side. Who are the VCs, who are the venture capitalists, what is seed money. So some of the basic concepts you should be learning. So I'm sure the guide, whatever coaching center guides you, the booklet that you get, that should be sufficient to cover these kind of areas.
Correct.
Yeah.
So I think you have been interviewing students over the past more than
25 years.
25 years, right?
25
yeah. How is there any evolution on the way the students have been over these years, and then how are you as a
very
professor
very
adapting
much
to these changes?
There's a huge difference. If you ask me what has happened, see, students of 20 years back, right? I think they were much more serious. Okay, but now I find that they're a bit more frivolous than being serious. See, now it is more about like they don't want to work towards it. They want instant gratification without actually working towards it. But the previous generation was not like that. They knew that you have a goal and they were really focused. And probably that is why even today I can remember my students who passed out 20 years back, but maybe students who graduated last year, I'll not be able to remember the names. So that is the level of connect we have had with the old students, because they used to come to us, used to have heated discussions on topics. They have proved us to be wrong at times. We have proved them to be wrong. But together we evolved. As student and faculty, we evolved along with them. These days we find like one thing I told you, students don't like to read. If they don't read, they don't have doubts. If they don't have doubts, they'll not be able to think out of the box. They don't come back to us. So these are the kind of things that we're seeing. There's very poor business communication. You have language issues. Then like attitude issues. So all those kind of things we are observing now. These are some of the big changes, which are not very good because at the end of the day, a business has to be run. Okay? It cannot be run on whims and fancies of some people, right? Certain attitude, certain decorum has to be maintained.
Sure. So we have, let's say, you have discussed upon like AI, and also how do you think the AI is shaping up the MBA curriculum, and then maybe the way business are conducted in the world.
See, AI and curriculum, you don't need to worry. Okay, that is not the student's business. That the institute will take care how to incorporate AI into the academia, right? But more importantly, you should be aware of some very good examples of how AI has taken over the entire business practice, right? Like, see, you can just think of any area of business and the way AI has been taking over. Now, maybe I can just give one of the crude examples. The other day I was just going through a video. They're using AI for automatic parking in China. Like you just leave the car at the doorstep of a huge parking lot that's got multiple floors and all that. So they have these parking robots. They will exactly like that. They are all, they're using AI. They can understand where exactly to go and park the car without any kind of problems. Right? So nicely it will go and put the car in the proper way. And there's no way one car can bang into another one. And when you need the car, it will reverse on its own and come and give it back to you. So that is an application of AI. Okay. So like that AI, one by one AI is eating into jobs, taking up a lot of jobs. So for example, the analysts, the consultants, like I'm sure you guys must be aware, the capability of ChatGPT. Suppose you get an X-ray of your hand, okay, and you just give the X-ray report to ChatGPT, he'll analyze it exactly like the way a doctor does it for you, right? I'm not saying do it, but I've just tried it, and I was really amazed at the kind of accuracy that they're able to give me, right? So going forward, this will become much smarter, right? And one more thing, like we're talking of, let's say digital twins, okay? A lot of deep fakes are going in the market now, which are all AI generated. Right? The other day, I just got a forward from some of my students, and you won't believe this. There it was like a podcast. We had a young guy, and talking to one person, and the person's name is Abraham Lincoln, okay, who was the next president of the US, who died in the 1800s and all. So the interview was going on. If you just look at the face, the way they have done it, it's a perfection. Now see, typically if you look at a lot of this AI generated stuff, you're able to match everything, but the eyes are very difficult to match. The way the eyes move, you can make out the eyes are very dull, and it is not a live person who's talking to you. But this video was amazing. It's like the way the eyes are moving, you can see there's actually life in the eyes. So we're talking about digital twins, entertainment industry. So now we don't need action heroes, right? We can have all AI doing stuff for you. So see, one by one, a lot of these established business practices will get taken over by AI. So there's no end to it. So the way AI is evolving, so all this the guys need to do is understand how AI is helping us in our business.
Yeah.
Like
So
what
we
are
have
this agents? Yeah, this agentic AI, how it is. Again, the basic things that you are aware of, it should be good enough. Yeah, next question.
So we have one question coming up from Aditya. So he's asking, how should students prepare for PI if they have gap years? So this particular student had done prepared for CA for 2 years but could not clear it. So
Okay.
how should he do in the PI rounds?
Okay, now this is a very, very typical problem and a typical, kind of question we face from the students. See, having a gap year is not a bad idea. And like you said, no, difference between then and now, this is one issue. 20 years back, I wouldn't see a single CV student coming with those gap years. But now it has become very common. After class 10, you take a drop. After 12, you take a drop. Then after you start graduation, after 1 year, you take a drop. Okay. Now, coming back to the question again. See, having a drop year is not a bad idea. And if you have a solid reason to justify why you took the drop year, I think that is okay. All we want to see is that in those 1 or 2 years that you've taken drop year, you've not wasted your time. Now, some people, they while away the time, right? They do nothing. And then they have nothing to explain why that big gap is there. We have done graduation. Like I've seen some examples. Engineering passed out in 2017, 2025, 8 years gone. There's nothing to show. Okay, not a single day of work experience. So those kind of things are very disturbing. So now if you say you've tried to clear CA for 2 years, it's fine. You can always be honest. Nothing wrong about it. You took up CA, you tried, you failed. That is okay. Failure is not a problem. The only thing is you should be able to justify why that gap year is there. Or if you can show, that you have tried some business. Some people do that. Right? They try to kind of have a startup. It could be anything. I'm not talking about IT startup. Right? Like I know examples of students have started one what do you call that? One chart, some kind of a chart on demand kind of a business. It flourished for some time. And then they thought, okay, I want to grow this bigger. I want to do something bigger in life. So they sell it out to somebody and they come to do the MBA. That is perfectly fine. Okay? So don't be too worried about gap years. But like I said, if it is very bad, for example, I also had examples like I was giving you. 7 years since you've done engineering and nothing to show on paper. That is very, very disturbing. That is not acceptable for us. 3 years with proper justification should be a problem. But you should be very confident about explaining why you're doing it.
Correct. So even if when the student has gap year, there should be some learning coming out of that, which will be
of course. Or maybe you pursued a hobby. That's also fine. Okay, you pursued a hobby, or you went into some kind of writing class. You were doing some certifications. All this should be good enough to block those kind of gaps in the CV.
So we have one more relevant question coming. Related to this topic, sir, if a student is a fresh graduate with 1 year of gap, giving his entire time to the CAT or exam preparation, can he apply to the good B school without any experience?
Why not? There is no rule in India that you need to work extra to join an MBA course. In the US, you need minimum 2 years. India is not there. And if you again can justify that 1 year and say that I tried for CAT, I could not crack it. So I thought I'll try once again. It's perfectly fine. Don't worry about it. That's not a big issue. No. It's all about how you project it. Okay? But the definite interview will ask you this. This question is bound to come. So have the answers ready with you. I'm just giving you one tip here. Have the answers ready with you. And when you answer with confidence. Okay? Yeah.
Okay. I think that completes the questions from the students. So any closing advice to the students from your side?
I wish you all the best. And remember, there are a lot of things to do in life. So one cat does not decide anything in life, right? So like you, there are a lot of hundreds of thousands or lakhs of students who are still very unclear about where they're going to land up. Even though you have got very good scores, it is relative grading, okay? Ultimately, before the actual percentiles come out, you don't know what is your rank, okay? You don't know where you stand. So don't worry much. But if you have done pretty decent, start preparation right away. Do not waste even a second. If people have not been able to do well at all, maybe think of all the other exams. Maybe you can take a look at repeating it once more next year. That also is not a bad option. But it all depends on your life and your family and all those kind of things and all that. But I wish you all the best. And give it if you want to do it, give it your best shot. So think that in the next 3-4 months, there is no life. My life is only about cracking this GDPI for all the top B schools. If you take that kind of mental approach, I'm sure you will reach somewhere good in life. Okay. So all the best to all of you. Yeah. And thank you, Srikanth, for having me here.
Thank you so much for spending your time and then giving advice to